Welcome to the Fast Mode podcast series. I'm Tara Neil, and with me today is João, Pedro Barata, Data and Analytics Offer Lead at Celfocus. Celfocus is a leading European high-tech system integrator focusing on cutting-edge solutions that boost customer experience and enhance operational efficiency via their cognitive automation, data and analytics, and digital offers. João joins us in a special episode on how organizations can become AI-ready through data-driven strategies and robust data analytics frameworks. Welcome, João. Great to have you on today's episode.
Thank you very much. Good morning, and happy to be here with you.
Awesome. Okay, so let's start. AI is already data intensive, and we know that. But GenAI seems to raise the stakes even further. How do the data needs of AI and GenAI differ, and what will the impact of GenAI be on data requirements?
Yes, it's true. But even before the generative AI and the data-driven organizations were already very data intensive. What I see as a difference, in my opinion, nowadays is importance that organizations are giving to their data platforms, to their teams, even to the data that was not yet digital. So we have a lot of requirements to now digitalize more and more data. And it's not just because we want to implement more use cases. I'm seeing also a great push to make, we used to say at Celfocus, that to make the data actionable and to get it to access to more people. So to have more people in the organization with access to that data. But yes, as per your question, GenAI is very data intensive, and we are seeing a lot of new use cases being implemented. So improving operations, improving business efficiency, and for example, that non-digital data is getting a very important role on that. So trying to automate some manual activities that were done by the business that can be automated, and at the end we may be also reducing the overall costs of for the organization. But I think the biggest impact in how data on this Gen AI area is how the impact that they are having on the way that we build our data ecosystems. I see a clear focus changing from just onboarding a lot of data to more on getting the right mechanisms to make it accessible for data consumption and promote this data democratization approach, where more people in the organization now have hands on the data and can have access to it. Of course, it have a lot of good opportunities by giving the data to more people on organizations. But we are also maybe exposing some data quality issues, some data issues that we were not identifying before, and by now having a lot of people using it, it will drive innovation, of course. But we need to have a very a clear focus on getting that data in a very good format to be consumed and trusted by the end users. Just to conclude my vision here is by having this Gen AI approach and giving the data to more people, and not just to implement use cases, we are also getting opportunities to innovate, to have to be more agile on decisions, and don't depend just on centralized teams to do that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow, I think you rightly summarized, the opportunities as well as, the challenges that you just highlighted by having to create a lot more data and be providing this data to a lot more users. So, touching on that, and expanding on some of the other challenges, often we hear this phrase, garbage in and garbage out. And can you explain how poor data quality impacts the performance and reliability of AI systems?
Yes, and for me the problem is when we don't know that we are ingesting garbage in. When we know it, it's good, but sometimes we don't know it. And I'm considering myself a strong promoter of the idea of treat the data as a product. And And like any other product, quality is what drives the trust and the adoption of a product. For example, if I'm going to buy something in the market and it doesn't expect we don't expect it to fail, and if it does, we are going to complain. We are going to call to a specific call center, or we eventually are going to stop to use it. And for data, we should apply the same principle. So we need to create mechanisms during the production of the data to validate the quality, manage issues, and ensure that we are not getting garbage in and garbage out at the end for the end consumers, or for the all the people systems that will get that data to take decision or to automate a specific process. And this becomes very important when we are talking about implementing an AI or GenAI use cases where we don't have a human in the middle that may know that that data is not so good enough. Because when you give it to an AI or to a GenAI model, it will learn with it and will apply actions based on that. I believe that we should take quality since the beginning of our implementations, because it's not just because we are promoting trust, but because we are going to also to reduce the number of issues that we are going to have in production. We are going to reduce the number of complaints, and probably by doing that, we are also reducing the maintenance costs at the end. So without so many issues, we may focus our maintenance teams in doing something else that can be more important. And at the end, at least is how I see it, if we have this trust cycle where we ensure the quality of the data, we get more consumers happy and with trust on the data that they are consuming. We are also improving maximizing the investment on data ecosystems, because we are leveraged on quality to have more people consuming the same data, reusing the same tools and components that we have provided to them, and avoid them to do something if they don't trust the data, they will try to get it somewhere else, and they are not going to use the data ecosystems that were prepared for that end.
So like what you said, the approach is to look at data as product, and from there we can see the issue of quality as a central element for this data, to making sure that you can build trust and so forth. So with that, do you think organizations' data architectures are ready for AI? And what are some of the common gaps that you see?
First, let me say that for me, and I believe for with the clients that we work, so each customer's organization can be in a different level of maturity when we talk about AI readiness, and that is not necessarily a bad thing. It means that the organizations are now ready to or have their data architecture, as you mentioned, ready for implement specific use cases, and some others they might not be ready, and they have gaps that they need to try to find an approach to solve it. I'm lucky in my role. I'm leading the data analytics software and also doing some pre-sales activities. And I have the opportunity to talk with many clients and to discuss challenges and possible architectures to address those challenges. One of them is the one that we have talked before, is the data quality. So have this data quality gap to ensure that when we are going to give data to an AI or to a Gen AI model, we have it in the right conditions and the right quality to be trusted and at the end. A second gap in architectures are the capability to reuse and to correlate data that is coming from different systems. Sometimes we are ingesting and onboarding a lot of data to the data ecosystems, but we are not able to join it. We don't have the capability to correlate it. Sometimes it's split across different data ecosystems, and we don't have any mechanism to access it. So that are some of the key challenges. Of course, I cannot end without talking about the lack of metadata and the importance that metadata have now on the data platforms and on data-driven organizations. because this metadata is not is it can be used also, for example, for humans to know, or to data consumers to know what they are consuming, where that data that they are accessing, where it came from, how frequent it is refreshed. And this type of information is very important, not just for these data consumers, but also for the AI and GenAI models. So we have a lot of requests, for example, uh, to accelerate the process of getting knowledge about the data that exists, and to query the data through natural language processing. So through NLP, make a question and transform it in a SQL statement that will go to my database. And to that happen, we need to have a lot of metadata that allows models to understand how the data is related, what means each column, to then be able to get the right answer. And something that is not so I see this. I'm not sure if you share the same opinion, but in many clients, for example, observability is not one of the things that they give more importance. And when we are deploying an AI or an Gen AI model, it's very important to take in consideration this observability part as well since the beginning, because we need to be able to move from pilots to productized solutions, and we need to understand how those solutions in production are being used, how who is assessing what is the performance, what is the cost associated to it, to have the complete business scenario understand it.
And I think that's where the complexities start coming in, right? So you have, like you highlighted, you start with quality and then the need for metadata, and then, knowing which applications users are going to use this data. So building on that, when we are developing for AI, is it more effective to use a centralized or decentralized data analytics model? I think you touched a little bit on the data sources, so maybe you can expand a bit more on that.
Yeah, and I got this question from a client last week, and we are discussing a lot
Wow.
yeah, with clients nowadays. Yeah, it's true, because it's normal to, when the organizations have their own path to grow, and in some cases they have multiple um, data platforms being used. And at Celfocus, and I also share that vision, we don't believe that we need to have a centralized data platform for all the data in the entire organization. What we believe that is the most important is the way we are going to serve that data and getting accessible to the different consumers. And by giving some examples, the most common mechanisms to share the data is the reporting tools. But nowadays, the request that we get from our clients is more on being able to correlate all the data ecosystems, sharing the data between data consumers, also, but also some systems, third-party systems that may need also that data. And we start to implement a lot of data services through APIs, for example, data brokers, fast data repositories, for example, for getting the data accessible for digital channels. And when we are in a portal, in a digital channel, we expect it to be have very quickly answers on the data, and we need to have it prepared for that. And the semantic models, or the data fabric approaches to correlate all this data that is coming from the different systems. In my opinion, data decentralization brings a lot of benefits, but of course also some challenges. And we need to take these mechanisms that I was describing in place to ensure that at the end we don't have the data in silos and not accessible. Also, from a cost perspective, this decentralization model brings some benefits, because each domain each have their own components, their own part of the data ecosystem, and they can control better the costs of their users, and also the budget for innovation, without leveraging in a central team, a central data platform, where they need to have they need to wait for some time to have their use cases being implemented. Uh, and of course, the challenges. So when we are promoting this decentralized data management, we may end with some data duplication. So people doing the same in different places, and we need to ensure that they follow the same governance, the same guidelines to ensure that when they find a good use case that is or a use case that is good for the organization, it can be centralized and it can be provided for the entire organization. And is exactly where we like to work with our clients. So on thinking on this, what is the right architecture, what is the right or what can be work better in terms of governance and creating the frameworks to succeed either for decentralized or centralized data strategies.
So without the right framework, I guess you are going to have a lot of duplication of data, and then like you pointed out, a lot of fragmented data, and the systems can be very expensive, and also the access might not be to all the systems, apart from human users, all the systems that need this data. So what solutions does Celfocus offer to organizations looking to become AI ready?
We have a lot of solutions, of course, but one of the ones that is more applicable when we are talking about AI ready is our AI readiness framework. In fact, we call it a framework to assess the organization's AI maturity level first, define AI readiness roadmap, identify next steps to evolve the maturity level in terms of architecture, but also in terms of short and medium-term use cases that can leverage on AI and GenAI. And as I said before, an organization doesn't need to have to be in the top maturity to start to implement some of those use cases. But with more maturity or in terms of AI readiness, more use cases can be implemented, of course. But to complement in terms of offers, so we have this AI readiness framework to assess and to identify opportunities to improve, but also we work with our clients on the full AI path or AI ready path. Since from starting or from setting the data foundations that we consider one of the most important activities, have the right foundations to make the data easy to access, easy to ingest, easy to consume and manage. A second one is more on the streamline operation, so using our data ops, FinOps frameworks to optimize the end-to-end data lifecycle and ensure that a solution can be productized and have the right controls implemented. And of course, one of our key offers nowadays is the AI business efficiency, where we bring AI and GenAI to automate some business activities that can leverage on these assets, on these tools to to generate new business cases for organizations, and moving from pilots, moving from POCs to production and successful business cases.
Amazing. So, what advantages will companies enjoy when partnering with Celfocus on their AI and data transformation journeys?
There are two key advantages for companies to partner with us. First, and we have talked a lot of that part, and sorry for that, is our we call it our self-focus accelerators and frameworks. And we believe with that clients can reduce the risks when adopting AI and GenAI. So these frameworks incorporates the lesson learned from previous projects and allow us to don't start from zero when we start a new project. So we have incorporated best practices, what we have learned that works in frameworks that we bring to our projects without any cost or any license. So we bring it as an accelerator, as an asset that we have to ensure that we can reduce risks and accelerate the project implementation. And the second is that we have more than 25 years and we have been working in different geographies, in different clients, in different markets and sectors. And that led us to in a good position to understand what works better and what have failed before. And our clients can leverage on these success stories to save time, to accelerate their journeys, because uh, by just considering these lesson learned that we bring from previous projects. And just to give you an example of the two frameworks that we are working a lot nowadays in our clients, and we're doing some new projects are on first data quality that we have talked a lot today. We have a data quality framework that it's a method-driven approach to data quality, where we define rules, business rules, technical rules, to be applied on the data, and also using AI, and once again, to detect anomalies on the data. So, for example, we have an AI anomaly detection framework where we can understand how the KPIs are evolving, and if a specific KPI in the organization from one week to the other changed a lot, we get an alert, even if nothing have failed in terms of processes, but we are alert that something is changing the value and is not according with the behavior. And the second group of frameworks is our AI and GenAI solution packages. We call it packages because they are tailored to resolve specific challenges that our clients are facing. For example, implementing an AI agent is one of the key topics nowadays, as you know. Yeah.
So yes, that's really awesome. I think the data quality framework and the anomaly detection framework that you just mentioned. I think that is something that that is really required to kickstart companies, organizations' journey in AI and Gen AI. So I guess with that we are at the end of our session. Thank you, João, for joining us and for sharing these insights on the importance of data quality and data architectures in the age of AI and Gen AI, as well as Celfocus role in this space.
Thank you very much for having me and for the great conversation we had.
Awesome. Okay, so to everyone tuning in, thank you guys for listening. If you want to learn more, visit www.celfocus.com and follow us for more updates and insights as we continue to uncover the latest in technology and telecommunications. See you in our next session. Bye bye.